So an exception is an abnormal condition which is disrupting the normal flow of the program. You write an exception handling, or you create an exception handling mechanism in Java such that the exceptions are handled properly, and you will be getting, or you will be retaining the normal flow of the application. Right? This is an exception. Now, now I'll be showing you the program just to get an idea. Right now, see here. This was exactly the same program which we were looking. You can see here, because you got the divide by 0, we term it as an error. Now, what is the information you got here? And have you written this information in your program? No. Then how is this particular information is seen here? Because there is a runtime error. And how are you getting this error? So this is a default handler by Java. Java is having a mechanism where it can handle your exceptions automatically. But what is the problem is, it has given you the information about this exception, but it didn't mean that this particular statement after this exception is executed, right? I'll repeat, because z is equal to x by y, because you got the divide by 0 error, you got the information about this. So if at all you are not getting this information, then you don't know what is actually happening to your program also. So your Java is helping you in raising a default exception message. So you can say exception in thread main, and you will be clearly understanding what is this. So divide by 0, at which point you got this, right? It is the details about your exception, and the next part is called stack trace. This whole thing is called as a stack trace. The first part here, this is called as the information about the exception, and the second line you can see that at the specific line also you will be getting which method, which class, and where actually your exception is raised. So this you didn't write as a part of the program, it is automatically handled by your Java. So Java is having a default exception handler mechanism. Now, if at all you want to make the further statements to be executed, you can handle the exception. As a programmer, you can also handle the exception. And what is the advantage of that is, once you are handling this particular exception properly, the remaining part of the program will be executed. So our aim is to handle the abnormal conditions in the program, that is, you will be handling the exceptions, and at the same time the further part of the program can be run normally. So you will be returning to the normal flow of the program, right? So next we'll be seeing the exception classes, right? You are having several classes under exception in Java, right? So this is the hierarchy of your exceptions, hierarchy of the exceptions. And we will be dealing about the runtime exceptions in our programs, or in our examples we will be learning about the runtime exceptions. So observe this, this is the complete hierarchy of your exception classes. So as usual, the first class here is object. What is an object class? Object class is a super class of all the classes which you are creating in Java. So object class is a super class of all the classes which you are creating in Java. Under your object, you are having one class called as your throwable class. So here, throwable class is the super class of exception as well as error classes. These all are the classes here. These all are the classes here. So object class is the super class of all the classes. Whatever the classes you are writing in Java, they come under the object class. Now you are having the next one is the throwable class. Throwable class is a super class of exception as well as error classes. So when you are raising an exceptions in Java, they come under your throwable class. Right. Now you are having two classes called exception as well as error here. Now this sort of the classes under error. This is a class, linkage error, virtual machine error, AWT error. There are several other errors also, like out of memory. You'll be having several more classes. We will only deal with this particular hierarchy of the classes. But wherever I have written like several more classes, there are actually another classes associated with it. Is not limited to these classes alone, right? Anyways, we will be looking in the program about our runtime exception mostly. So now coming back, under the throwable is a super class of your exception as well as your error class, right? Now coming to your error class, this sort of the classes, the set of the classes present under your error are the serious conditions occurring in the program. There are serious abnormal conditions occurring in the program. For example, it will be your virtual machine is out of memory. The virtual machine is itself and out of memory, and there is a system crash, right? Linkage errors, your AWT errors. So these are the serious conditions which occur in the program. Now we are not writing an exception handling mechanism for the classes under error class, because they are very serious conditions, and the only way to recover these sort of errors is to terminate the program. You don't have any other option. You need to terminate the program. They are that serious. So our exception handling doesn't concentrate on your error classes at all, because there are very serious problems occurring in the system. Like virtual machine out of memory, what you can do, right? Your system is crashed. The only way is to terminate the program. Now our interest lies in this particular set of classes, exception classes. Now for example, these classes under your exception class may arise due to many reasons, due to programming reasons or your external circumstances as well. Right? Means I have done some mistake in the program, an abnormal condition. I have written a program in which you are having an abnormal condition, like z is equal to x by y divided by 0 is an abnormal condition occurred in the program. So these sort of classes under exception, these sort of classes under exception classes can be handled. These arise because of your programming or because of some external circumstances as well. For example, here if at all you see your class not found exception. Let what is your class not found exception? Let your application mainly tries to load the class, but your class loader is not able to find that particular class. So that will be resulting you in the class not found exception. Your application is launching and it is trying to load a class, but it is not, this particular class is not found by the class loader. That is in the class path, your class loader is not able to find that particular class. Your class path we have seen in your packages. So in such circumstances, your class not found exception, you can see your class not found exception. Similarly, IO exception. When does this IO exception arise? It is clearly telling you input and output exception. It is purely pertained to your input and output operations. Now, what will be the example for that? Suppose consider if you are trying to read a file that does not exist. You are trying to perform a read operation on a file which is not even existing, then obviously it will throw an IO exception. Under IO exception, again you are having many other exceptions also, right? Similarly, AW2, it is an exception raised with respect to your abstract window toolkit. The next one is your runtime exception. Now our interest lies in your runtime exception. Now for example, if you have seen your divide by zero is basically an arithmetic exception, right? So each and every abnormal condition which usually occurs in the program are categorized into several classes. This is what the meaning of your exception classes is. For example, I am writing a divide by zero. Divide by zero is a runtime exception, and specifically it comes under your arithmetic exception, right? Right. I can show you here. We'll go back to your Eclipse and we will see the program. Now you can see here, divide by zero. What was the message your Java has shown you? See here, exception in thread main java.lang.arithmetic exception. So my divide by zero is under arithmetic exception. The meaning of this is divide by zero is under arithmetic exception. Similarly, now suppose consider that I am raising some other error here. Some other error here. Suppose consider that I'll be removing this one. This will be working it properly. And I'll be adding here int a is equal to new int of 3. Right? I'm creating an array here. Now I am trying to print I'm trying to print a value which is not in the boundary of your array. What is the size of an array here? 3. It can hold 3 variables. But now what I'm trying to print is I'm trying to print a of some 5. There are actually only 3 variables in an array, but I'm trying to access my a of 5. Right? Now I'll be showing you the execution of this program. right? Enter the value of x. We'll be giving the proper values now. Don't raise your divide by 0 error. That is what I meant to say. So enter the value of y is 2. So what will be your z? Z will be perfectly 4 by 2, right? So z is properly operated here. Now I am creating an array. I am printing the value of your z, and then I am calling, or I am trying to print a value out of your boundary of your array. What is the boundary of your array? It is having only three variables. It can, the capacity of it is to hold only three variables. But what are you trying to access? The fifth variable, which is not even present. So now I'll be giving 2, right? The value of z is printed properly because there is no exception till here. Now where is the point of your exception here? This is the actual point of your exception. I'm trying to print an array out of bounds. An array out of bounds, that is int 3. I have given the array capacity as 3 and I'm trying to access the a of 5 variable. See, what are the variables which can be accessed here? A of 0, a of 1 and a of 2. Three variables index. This is the normal array. So what will be your index is starting with 0, 1, 2. So how many variables it is holding? Three variables. What are those variables? A of 0 is one variable, a of 1 is one more variable, and a of 2 is other variable. Now I am trying to call a of 5, which is not even existing. So that is the reason. Now you can see here, observe, I'm trying to show you another example of an exception. So exception in thread mean, earlier what was the information you got? Java.lang.arithmetic exception. Now what is the exception now? Java.lang.array index out of bounds exception, right? Index 5 is out of bounds for the length 3. It is clearly stating you the message. Now where is the path? This is my lab programs second, and it is the name of the program is exception example, and dot main is actually raised, and in that program exception example.java, in the 15th line I have encountered the exception, right? So this is another exception. Array index out of bounds is another exception, right? So what we have seen an arithmetic exception and array index out of bounds exception also. So going back to your exception hierarchy, we're actually dealing with this. So these are your normal. I said you initially that we'll be handling your runtime exceptions. The reason is these are the exceptions which are usually caused in the program. Usually caused in the program. So now we have seen the arithmetic exception example. One such sort of example was your divide by 0. You are having many exceptions, many errors. One such sort of error is arithmetic in the arithmetic exception is divide by 0. Right? Null pointer exception, when I'm trying to get a value but your value is returned as null, then you will be getting your null pointer exception. I'm trying to deal a code with that is I'm writing a program which is trying to operate on some set of objects. On set of objects means object will have some value. Now if at all consider that object is not written properly, or for the further part of the program is actually dealt about your objects, but there is a problem in retrieving that particular object. It usually happens in your arrays also. When you are creating array of arrays, it usually happens when you are not allocating the memory separately for the array objects, then but still you are dealing with the complete program, right? I'll repeat. For example, consider that I'm dealing with your multi-dimensional arrays a of 2 2. How many values it stores? It can store 4 values. Now because it is your array is an object in your Java, it is no more a normal data type, it is your object in your Java. So you need to separately allocate the space or the memory for each and every object. Consider that you didn't allocate the memory for your object separately. Instead, I am just allocating the memory for your a of 2 2, right? Then what will happen? The next part of the program is based upon that particular values only. When your when the code is running and when it is trying to fetch that particular object, but that object is not at all present, then obviously you will be getting the null pointer exception. This usually occurs in your programs. We can see in your arrays also. The next one in the index out of bounds exception. In that one such is your array index out of bounds, which we have seen recently, right? What is this? I'm trying to call, or I'm trying to retrieve a value which is actually out of bounds. I have created an array of size 3, but I'm trying to use or print an array out of its bounds. 3 is the size, I'm trying to print my a of fifth variable. Then obviously it will throw an exception, and that comes under your index out of bounds exception. Similarly, you are having another exception called illegal argument exception also. These are the common exceptions which can arise in the program, and further part of the program we will be seeing the examples of each and every exception here.